New York City, it's one of those places where the architecture, it doesn't just stand there. It really feels like it tells a story, a narrative written in stone and steel. It's like the built environment actually defines the city's soul. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore how all those different architectural styles in New York have really shaped things, not just the famous skyline, but its identity, its whole spirit. And we've pulled together some fascinating insights from a pretty comprehensive historical look at the city's architecture for you.
And that's absolutely the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
Architecture, well, fundamentally, it isn't just construction, is it? It's more like a living record, reflects culture, societal shifts, even conflicts, and the collective vision of the time. As we sort of peel back these layers, these historical layers, you'll see how each era really built on the last one, creating this vibrant, dynamic tapestry that we know as New York today.
Okay, so to really get that story, we probably need to start at the beginning, right, at the foundation. Those very first structures the Dutch settlers put up back in, 1624? New Amsterdam started with, well, surprisingly simple timber homes along the waterfront. What do those humble beginnings tell us?
Well, they were definitely about raw practicality, yes, establishing a foothold. The ground was pretty marshy, so it was about function first. But what's interesting, and maybe often overlooked, is how those pragmatic choices sort of subtly set the stage for New York's future as a mercantile hub, where efficiency would pretty much always win out over showing off. They really laid this invisible groundwork for the incredible density that came later. Prioritizing function right from day one, it shaped the urban fabric.
Okay, so building on that practical start, what happened when the British influence arrived in the 1700s? How did that start to formalize New York's architectural identity?
You see a very distinct shift then.
Yeah.
The Georgian townhouses started appearing, and they introduced a much greater sense of symmetry, order. It went beyond just, brick facades and tall chimneys. You started seeing elements like balanced sash windows, classical pilasters, that sort of thing. And these weren't just design choices, not really. They were subtle signals, deliberate markers, I think, of more formalized society, a bit more hierarchical, establishing itself. Quite a contrast to the earlier, rougher timber structures. They were literally building a new colonial ambition into the city's bones.
Right. But then the story really picks up speed with the industrial era, the introduction of cast iron that completely transformed areas like Soho. What was it about that material that made it so revolutionary, enabling that sort of distinct urban elegance?
It was revolutionary, partly because it kind of democratized grandeur, made it more affordable.
Yeah.
But it also opened up huge possibilities for commerce. Cast iron's strength, its structural strength, allowed for these massive window displays, huge unencumbered windows, which basically turned the street into an open-air showroom.
Ah, okay.
So it wasn't just about ornate facades you could produce more easily. It fundamentally changed how goods were sold, how whole neighborhoods functioned, really, making retail very visible right there at street level.
And then, oh boy, then came the age of just pure sky-piercing ambition, Art Deco. When you think New York, you think grandeur. Right. The Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, they just pop into your head. These weren't just tall buildings. They felt like, I don't know, cathedrals of a new modern aspiration. From your perspective, what was the biggest cultural statement these skyscrapers made? Beyond just being, incredibly tall.
Well, they were incredibly audacious acts, especially considering the time. Acts of defiance, almost, against the economic downturn of the era. They visually declared this unyielding belief in progress and prosperity. Art Deco buildings with those sharp angles, the chrome crowns, and often those dramatic setbacks. Yeah, often required by zoning laws, actually, to let light reach the street. They became this physical manifestation of the Jazz Age's, its boundless financial ambition. The Chrysler Building spire, for instance, that was part of an audacious race to be the tallest.